allow people to walk even on the embankments. And they knew if the level of water had risen so much, they would convey it orally at a point called Sangam, that the water has risen to X level, so please start your flood warning system. So the boats would start coming out onto the streets, onto the other places, and they were earmarked places where to breach these embankments, so that the minimum amount of loss to first to human beings, then to cattle, livestock, then to properties, and finally, if there was any loss, it was to the agriculture. So they knew exactly where to breach, and none of the breaches happened this time for many reasons. So the whole process from the collective memory vanishes over a period of time unless it is kind of rejuvenated systematically. Now let's look what is happening around Srinagar area. This is 1981. This is 2011. The red shows the extent of increase in the built-up in the 30 years. Blue conversion. Can you see? This is the wetland area. 1981, only 30 years back. Where is it here? It's gone. This is the Hokersar Lake where Jhelum would actually was allowed to inundate. This is the wetland. It's gone. It's agriculture or orchard. So there's a major shift, increase. See the red, how much it has increased between these 30 years. Plantation, see how much it has increased. Agriculture, how much has increased. And what has suffered are your lakes and wetlands, when you know the fragility of the ecosystem. And if you look at any of our planning boards, the systems and how we are, it's top headed by, at the moment, I'm not being critical, but it is a fact. It's by an engineer who's a transport planner, who's the chief architect who takes all the calls. That's the kind of system in which we're living, and we're talking about smart cities. So this is the land transformation. From what to what? It has happened in the last 30 years. So vacant to built up is the red. Agriculture to built up, can you see? Marsh to agriculture. So we've literally finished off, we have choked the valley actually. And the frequency of the floods will enhance substantially. And if we look at this map, built up 1981 yellow, built up 2011 red. Fortunately, the black is still considerable amount. So there is still scope, but it requires a complete, different outlook towards approach, and people have to be willing to listen. Now, the entire master plan of this, the new one, was passed during the time of the flood in hush-hush manner, just before the government change. Can you imagine that? And it was designed by somebody from Ahmedabad. There was nothing and no understanding of vulnerability of Himalayan areas. And that's the kind of country in which we are living. And so how do you do a master plan? This is the only portion you're considering to design the master plan, and you've forgotten about the entire drainage system. So where are we heading for? I don't know. Once again a comparison, just to take you through. What I want to show you are the possibilities. So I'm taking one small watershed, which is of Vaishnav River. This is the purest water available in the valley. It's at about, this is called Kausarnath, which is about 4,750 meters above Kulgam area in the Pir Panjals. Now this is the elevation map. It shows you how you come down from more than 3,000, it's actually 4,000 to 1,800 in this kind of distance. This is your scale. So this is all available. This research I have picked up from Google. It's all available in different departments, and it's not copyright. If you want, you can do it. If you don't want, you don't do it. This is the geological map which is available. Tons and tons of paper research work is available in Kashmir. So luckily you have a huge alluvium plain, which is a great possibility. These are called karevas in Kashmir, and these are the mountain areas. Karevas are arid flat hilltops. The saffron is grown around in that area of karevas also. Now, all your rivers, Jhelum River is a sewer. All the sewage flows through it now. Finally, the government has actually admitted in the High Court, when they really pushed them, what is the status of the river. The entire drainage system of the entire sewage system of the city moves into Jhelum River. That is what it is. So you don't have water from there. Your lakes are drying up. Dal Lake you can't, because all the agriculture has shifted from organic to inorganic, so it's all pesticide filled. Your springs are drying up simply because there's too much erosion happening because you have cut all your forests. So your springs are drying up. So what is your source of water? You drown somewhere in Himachal Pradesh to bring water to Delhi. Similarly, it's going to happen over here. So these are the springs which are drying. But there is a potential. There's huge amount of land in the available plain which is available. So my hypothesis is this. You don't have to bring all the water. If you look at this map, why do you want to bring all the water from all of this as fast as possible into Jhelum and create a problem? The solution to this of stormwater management or river water management is slow it down in your own watershed. You solve your problem in your own neighborhood. And it is possible to do it. For last 23 years, that's what we have been doing in our practice. Slow it down at all the scales. So if you slow down the water in this watershed, this is the drainage map. If you slowed it down in this watershed, this is an example of how to do it. We did it in Bhopal. So what would happen? What are you doing? You're delaying the runoff. A, you're delaying the quantity of the runoff. B, you're buying time. So quantity is delayed, time is delayed, and percolation will happen. So if you manage water in this watershed, the amount of water flow into Jhelum will reduce substantially. And what I'm sharing with you are images from some of our projects over the last many years, where we have done this as part of our design practice. How to just slow it down and create recreational landscape opportunities and cut down stormwater management through engineered solutions by more than 60%. And see what you can do with rivers. And why would an engineer want to do this if it is so cheap? There's no money. So what is the minimum you can start with is an early warning system. It is such a simple device. All it requires is, in all your rivers, please put up a system that will monitor, which is connected through your satellite, which is very simple. India keeps on sending its satellites. You know the river level as soon as it increases. You have a decision-making center that just sends out signals through radios, through mobile, or through your mosques. You have places for evacuation, high grounds, you earmark, you create a planning system for that. And you substantially reduce the human life, the cattle life. And you can actually, by slowing down the water, believe me, the water level in Jhelum, in the worst case flooding, should not have been more than 3 feet. It went to 15 feet. People were shitting in that water, people were drinking that water, people were on top of rooftop for 5 days, taking out water from the roof tank, waiting for someone to come there and rescue them. There was no government, there was no army, Indian Air Force that you saw on the TV. It was only for selected areas. And when the helicopters started coming to some of these vulnerable areas, the houses started collapsing. So it is a myth that they were asking them to go back. It was simply for their own safety. So what you saw in media is not reality, and we never get that. So this system is the minimum. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen in 3 months' time, if anybody wants to do it. So what do we do in fragile ecosystems? Do we have a regional level master plan? No, we don't. Why don't we have one? I don't know. Do we have a drainage master plan for any city in India? No, we don't. Delhi was pushed into making one few years back. Where did the project go? To IIT. And what was the solution? To send it off as quickly as possible into Yamuna. So when you work with only with one set of information, yes, engineering is great and it will work wonders in this kind of a situation where you have models for predictability of when will the floods will happen, what is the rising, so that's where you need them. But you also need planners, you also need geographers, you also need landscape architects in order to create your other set of drainage master plans. But you're not consulting anyone. So where are we heading for? So we don't have a regional level master plan. A Kashmir Valley, which is so fragile, needs one, and all of Himalayan areas needs one. Regional master drainage master plan, it doesn't exist for any city in India. We need one desperately. So as I said earlier, this entire valley that you see green drains off through this little gorge. So imagine a huge container of water, if it is allowed to come out through a straw, what will happen? It will all back up. And if there are 50 lakes that are flowing and they are like sponges, it will absorb that. That's what the lakes do in that area. So basically slow it down in its own watershed. The river Jhelum doesn't have its capacity, and you need to really revive, restore and reconnect your wetlands if you need to exist in that kind of fragile ecosystem. And I'll end this presentation with a part of a small poem I had written. It's very dear to me, that land, even though I was not born there. By the way, this is a 100-year-old 4-story house which belonged to my ancestors until 1990. This poem is pretty long, so I'm going to read only a short part of it. It's called The Land Divine. My soul is in the rivers, in the lakes of a land that I once called mine, a place sought to seek and merge by men and women folk all kind. From Persia, Tibet and other parts of the world they came to the land of seekers to find the truth and merge. My soul finds rest here for reasons beyond why. In the myriad faces that still live there, in the boatman, in the weaver, in the shopkeeper, my soul rests there. In the baker of the daily bread, my soul finds rest, in the sight, the smell of each bread rolled out from sunrise to sunset. Why does my soul become easeful and at rest? In the vegetables, the chinar leaves, the rushing water of the mountain streams, my soul naturally becomes still. In this place, effortlessly, it becomes me. I'm just going to read the last part of it. I am just a soul. Neither am I a Pandit nor a Muslim. I am just a soul, entrenched deeply in the water and the land, from core to core. I owe it to you, my motherland. It's not yours, it's not mine, it's our sacred motherland. So no more violence, no more blood. There'll be no more floods if only we nurture you. If we hold you sacred and pure, there will be no more blood, there will be no more floods. And with that slide of hope, I end it. Thank you so much.